Rekod tu lah, rekod pendek. Rekod kita. Dia mana? Dia main air rekod kami orang apa? Tak boleh tambah itu. Kita nak dia. Maju gimana? Tapi dia sudah kecewa dia. Keluar itu. Kita sampai di titik. Tua sama dia. Dia pokoknya di sini Pak, orang ramah, orang kesayangan. Mana? Ayo. Guys, you're in the view, guys. Excuse me.
Media belah sana, belah sana.
Media belah sana. Why? Microphone out here already. Sabar. Relax. Oh, depan duduk. Kita tengok juga. Thank you.
Okay, stay here.
Hey, Datuk Seri lambai.
Wow, cuma.我开着先。
Okey, undur belakang. Undur belakang.
Negara want to have some handing over my cell back to the house. The line here. Okay. The president wants to have a ceremony before they depart.
Okay, please tolong clearkan ruang ini. Clearkan. Langkah sikit. Ada ceremony di sini. Please. Tak boleh duduk sini. Excuse me. Please clearkan. Belakang ni. Careful, line. Microphone cable, careful. Bayar apa ni? Release. Release tak? Boleh release tak? Release dulu. Release. Excuse me. I already told you to move from here. Please. Excuse me. They have a ceremony here. Okay, Bang, wayar ni boleh cabut dulu bang. Saya bagi balik. Belum. Just put it. Sebab dia tinggi sangat. The prison's officials are doing an official handing over release Anwar Ibrahim here at his house.
Terima kasih semua. Tenang. Ia akan ada upacara penyerahan. Penyerahan Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim daripada penjara kepada rumah. Security. Kita perlukan dua pegang penjara bersama-sama untuk majlis penyerahan ini. Terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum.
Agak tu.
Pendiri kawalan dan muslim selesai menjalankan tugas yang diamanahkan. Sedang mengirim kawalan dan pencegahan seluruh tindakan cepat jabatan penjara besar. Mohon izin untuk bersurai dan menghormati. Res! Dua! Panas! Salam. Okay. Thank you.
Terima kasih Raj Mengatakan penjara.
Jalan kita kat Oya. Ini boleh naik makan. Aku beli kan kacau ni.
The officers are shaking hands with Anwar Ibrahim after the handing over. This is officially out from prison after the young Kanagong granted a full pardon on de facto leader of PKR Anwar Ibrahim.
Jangan pegang. Sabar. Jaga wire kat kaki. Bro, wire bro. Wire. Okey, thank you. Excuse me. Ya, sabar. The officers are seen taking selfies with Anwar Ibrahim, and it's official. Anwar Ibrahim is now a free man. Okay, Bral. Excuse me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil karim. Aziza, Azmin, Safiuddin, pimpinan yang hadir, keluarga, anak, saudara-saudari yang dirahmati sekalian. Pertama, kita bersyukur kepada Allah SWT kerana perjalanan adikku derita berakhir pada hari ini untuk membolehkan saya mengecap udara bebas. Saya sebaik saja diberitahu telah dipohon menghadap ke Istana Negara menemui Tuanku Tuan Agong dan bersama Aziza dan juga saudara Azmin, dan saya sampaikan terima kasih kepada Tuanku kerana mengambil keputusan segera dan tegas membebaskan sepenuhnya tanpa sebarang syarat. Dan kita bersama Tuanku selama hampir 1 jam dan berbincang, dan saya tentulah terasa terkesan kerana apa tagline-nya, dari penjara ke istana. from the prison to the palace. من السجن إلى القصر. Dalam bahasa Arab. Bahasa Tamil saya belum hafal. Baik, jadi yang itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, kebetulan sebelum saya tiba, saya juga menemui Yang Muhammad tu Dr. Mahathir di perkarangan istana, dan saya sampaikan ucapan terima kasih kerana membantu dalam proses ini yang membolehkan Yang di-Pertuan Agong memperkenan kebebasan tanpa syarat. Saya nak jelaskan satu perkara tentang kebebasan ini, iaitu kita tidak mohon keampunan kerana kesalahan disabitkan. Kita tuntut kebebasan kerana fitnah dan salah guna kuasa, serta apa yang disebut sebagai perjalanan yang bercanggah dengan prinsip keadilan. Dan prinsip inilah yang diterima oleh Yang di-Pertuan Agong dalam membebaskan saya dan membersihkan sama sekali semua rekod sebelumnya. Jadi pengarah penjara Sungai Buloh dan kaki tangan sebentar tadi menemui saya untuk memaklumkan secara rasmi, tetapi saya tidak perlu tanda tangan apa-apa kerana saya dibersihkan sama sekali dari segala pertuduhan dan hukuman. Sekarang saya juga beritahu kepada Tun Mahathir, saya dan Azizah bercadang untuk menemui beliau secepat mungkin, mungkin esok, untuk menyatakan terima kasih kepada kami. Saudara, dia tinggal masalahnya ialah untuk memberikan saya sedikit ruang berehat dengan keluarga, walaupun malam ni ada di Epcot Mall untuk menemui rakyat. Saudara, ini berlaku dengan izin Allah, dan ini berlaku kerana daya juang dan semangat yang ditunjukkan oleh rakyat Malaysia seluruhnya. Berjuang hampir 20 tahun tanpa rasa letih, dan alhamdulillah hari ini satu permulaan. Kita menyaksikan satu babak baru dalam negara kita, dan saya telah menyatakan sokongan saya kepada pimpinan Tun Dr. Mahathir dan Dr. Wan Azizah untuk menerajui negara, dan saya akan membantu dan menyokong sebagai seorang rakyat biasa di Malaysia ini. So I would like to begin by expressing my deep gratitude to Allah SWT, of course. Begin with that, then to express also my profound gratitude to Yang di-Pertuan Agong, who immediately summoned us to the palace. So I and Aziza with Saudara Azmin went to the palace. We spent 1 hour audience with the king, expressing our gratitude, and also to discuss general issues and current affairs and international issues. I was deeply gratified by the wealth of knowledge and the concern and compassion shown by the king. I would like to clarify on the point of the pardon. Pardon normally is given to those who have somewhat accepted the judgment of the court and then appeal to the king for pardon. In my case, we appealed because there was a miscarriage of justice. We appealed because there was travesty of justice. We appealed because there was clear conspiracy to condemn me, assassinate my political character. And I praise to Allah because the king accepted this, that the pardon is complete, unconditional, and due to our appeal, in particular Aziza, that there was miscarriage of justice on Anwar. Therefore, in the comment or statement by the prison director just now, I don't need to sign any document because the entire conviction is erased automatically. Now, there is a new dawn for Malaysia. I must thank the people of Malaysia, Malay, Chinese, Indians, Kadazan, Iban, the entire spectrum of Malaysians regardless of race and religion, who stood by the principles of democracy and freedom. They demand change, and it is our duty now to ensure that this mandate given to Pakatan Harapan would honor this commitment. I've given my assurance, categorical assurance, to Tun Dr. Mahathir as Prime Minister, Aziza as Deputy Prime Minister, the entire leadership, that I'm here as a citizen, concerned citizen, would give complete support to allow them to manage the affairs of this country on the understanding that we are committed to the reform agenda, beginning with the judiciary, media, and the entire apparatus that must respect the principles of democracy and justice. Terima kasih.
Saya pada daripada ketiga. Apa yang terlintas di fikiran Datuk Seri selepas bebas dan apa yang Datuk Seri akan buat selepas ini?
Terima kasih. Tengok, saya bagi peluang soalan pertama kepada TV3. Saya katakan yang penting kita harus melihat ke depan. Ya, kita ada tugas untuk memajukan negara. Dan ini juga yang saya sampaikan kepada Tun Dr. Mahathir masa beliau ziarah saya di hospital 3-4 hari yang lalu. We have to move on. Dan apa perasaan saya? Pertama, saya syukur, alhamdulillah. Ya. Kedua, yang penting, tidak sia-sia menanti hampir 20 tahun derita, sengsara, dihina dan diaibkan. Dan saya menanggungnya, Azizah dan keluarga menanggungnya, sahabat-sahabat setia menanggungnya. Dan alhamdulillah, dengan sokongan rakyat, kita saksikan perubahan. Itu yang saya rasa cukup terharu sekali. Kemudian mana bayangkan seorang yang termerengkok di penjara diberikan penghormatan tertinggi oleh Yang di-Pertuan Agong dan yang menjelaskan sendiri mengapa keputusan memerdekakan saya semula, membebaskan tanpa syarat dibuat. Terima kasih.
What's the significance of the prison life will give to you, and what's the most that your job in the prison?
I have said, and I would reiterate, the most significant lesson one can learn from prison life is the value of freedom. When you are incarcerated, you realize what is the meaning and significance of freedom. No one, is not Anwar or Achong or Murugan, anyone must not be allowed to undergo the same travesty that befallen any individual. I happen to be known, I happen to be supported by many people, but we must stop this once and for all, and it is our duty, particularly in Pakatan Harapan, to end this. And of course, the issue of economic justice, of spiraling price, difficulties encountered by people, which I observe in prison. And I am fortunate because prison officers and staff, although they had strict rules, no makan, no this, no that, no, my goodness, but they were kind, they were compassionate, they were very supportive. And from then I know that we are going to win in these elections. Yeah, the question on timeline. I discussed this with Dr. Mahathir. My position is to give him all the support necessary to allow him to ensure that the agenda for reform, the changes that need to be done, be effectively carried out. And I don't think I would be seen to be either hasty to demand or to insist on any immediate time frame. I've told him that I've got invitations by renowned universities throughout the world to give series of lectures. I'm not going to stay there for a few years, don't worry. But naturally, I have a fellowship, weeks or months, from renowned universities, Harvard and Georgetown University and Stanford and some other parts of the Muslim world, because I think I have a small contribution to make to show that the voice of reason and moderation in Islam is paramount. Number two, that Muslims can also be counted upon to ensure that there's freedom and justice for all citizens in their country.
Datuk Seri, hi, Tasha from Daily Mail. It's good to have you back. Datuk Seri, just a comment. How do you feel like, now that you're out, how do you feel like the man who was behind this is likely to be facing criminal charges soon? Comments?
Well, I don't know whether Datuk Seri Najib would be facing, because it would depend on the investigations and the charges preferred. But as I've said, in the second case, incarceration, Datuk Seri Najib was clearly involved, and I was gratified when the King made clear reference to that. But I have no personal malice towards him. I don't want an issue of Anwar being incarcerated to be an issue made against him. But the issue of injustice towards the people, crime committed against the people, endemic corruption that has become a culture in this country, that he has to answer. But when it comes to my personal welfare, I have forgiven. I want to move on. I have no malice towards Najib or anyone else.
Datuk Seri, Norman from Malaysia Kini. Do you see this win by Pakatan Harapan as a Malaysian spring in Southeast Asia?
Terima kasih Malaysia Kini. You've done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
And yes, certainly. President Tayyip Erdogan called, Sheikh Ardawi spoke to me at length on what he called the people's rise. Rashid Ghanouchi, all from Tunisia, of course Al Gore, my friend, and many others throughout the world calling, President Habibie trying to get me on the line. Clearly, I am convinced that this is a very significant development, not only in Malaysia. I mean, the Muslim world now can see that there is that window of opportunity if given the chance, even minimum chance for a democratic change or transition or elections, they can execute these reforms. I believe that many friends, in fact, in Turkey, in London, in Washington, Tunisia, have invited me to give a series of lectures precisely on the Malaysian experiment or experience in transforming a kleptocratic, semi-authoritarian regime into a full-fledged democracy. To me, this is very significant. You know, I've always said, which becomes a cliche, that I do trust in the wisdom of the masses. Many people are quite cynical about it, but it comes to the crunch. People are wise, and the Malaysians have shown that given the exposure, the facts, they actually decide very wisely. So now that I am having this full media conference, we will not have the one at 4. I have now given my first decision to cancel the or change the decision of my staff. You see, now I'm in charge. I am in charge now. Yeah. Malaysia Kini again. I am buried the hatchet. I mean, it's a long time already. But why do we then harp on this? Many people question, why do you work with that man? And they became very cynical. Are you sure? Are you sincere? And in fact, one of the very known statesmen in the world was joking with me. Anwar, are you sure? Are you telling me the truth? Come on, look at me and say that you have forgiven him. So I looked at him. I said, my interest now is the welfare of the nation. I have forgiven him, and he has proven his mental. He has made sacrifices. He was maligned in the media. I tell you, it is like deja vu. But he struggled, worked indefatigably hard together. He has now supported the reform agenda. He has facilitated even my release. Why should I harbor any malice towards him? I mean, there are of course people, you know, apparatchiks around who would throw some, because to protect their interests. But as long as I continue to have direct contact and with Tun Mahathir, I believe that we will ensure the smooth transition. If it all happen in the near or future, it will be something which is to be proud of by Malaysians.
Joseph from Reuters. Do you see anyone blocking you from becoming Prime Minister?
Who?
Do you see anyone blocking you from becoming Prime Minister?
This, my friend, is politics. Okay? I can be sure of a total support. It is democracy. You see, in Keadilan, people are questioning, why must you allow this fellow to say this? I say, we are not UMNO. We have to allow some differences of opinion. I disagree with many of them, but we work together. When it comes to the crunch, we are committed to the central issue. People are concerned that the reform agenda may not go through. But I have seen, at least in the last week, there is that strong commitment. But there are concerns about personalities involved, some you know, suspicious character with a lot of baggage being involved. But they don't decide. We will make sure that this agenda is not derailed. That is to my mind personally. Yes.
Datuk Seri Anwar from TERKINI. How do you
Wah, mentang-mentang I kata Malaysia kini bagus. 3 orang datanya.
Banyak orang sini. Datuk, how do you plan to make your political comeback?
Why do I worry about political comeback? I've been there. Not physically. You know, the last message from Tun Mahathir, which is very clear, profound, and I should say a very strong, appealing message. I watched it and I was there, right behind him.
Are you saying that you have never left?
I've never left the scene. Of course, I was denied because I don't have the facilities. Now I've just started trying to use the phone and the computer, these gadgets. They're getting, learning fast because you have completely left it in the last 3 years. But as I said, we will have to move on.
I'm from Hong Kong, and I'd like to know if you know the Belt and Road initiative of China when you stay in prison, and what's your comment, and if you become leader, what you will do and deal with this?
No, in prison, I have no access to newspapers, television, so it was, in a way it was good. I kept my sanity by not reading local papers. But of course I'm kept informed, abreast through our team of lawyers. I must thank them, you know, Siva, Suren, and all the team of lawyers who kept me, you know, abreast and gave me papers and cuttings. Of course, our concern, we are not against Chinese investments, and I think I would like to reiterate what Mahathir has said. We are not against Chinese investment, but we are concerned about the manner some of the deals are being done. And any government has the right to make sure that there is transparency, accountability, that dealings would protect the interests of the nation, right?
Dr. Ibrahim, what have young Malaysians voted for your alliance? Honestly, can a 92-year-old man really address their needs? Does he really understand the people who swept your bonfire of power?
Okay, the question is how will we then upsurge of youth support in this country, how do you then allow a 93-year-old man to govern? My answer to this is this. Number one, Tun Mahathir is committed to the reform agenda, which is actually the agenda of the youth of this country. Secondly, it's not a dictatorial system. It's not a one-man show. It's a decision to be made by a team of leaders from Pakatan Harapan with Dr. Mahathir, who is the chief steward in the entire process. So I think, and he, in many of his comments and his speeches, has represented the sentiments, expressions, and aspirations of the young people. Okay, last question, please. Whether I have a role in the cabinet? I'm not the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has the prerogative to form. But in our system, the Prime Minister has given an assurance that he will consult party leaders. I've given some, minor, not something substantive, strong views for his consideration. But I think you have to accept that fact. Once you are, someone has to decide. Our appeal, when you had, for example, an initial, should I say, not differences, slight differences with keadilan expressed by the President, Aziza, is because of this, because we felt that the manner is being done, or the process of consultation should be more effective. But this is being addressed by Tun Mahathir. I've informed Tun Mahathir, very kind of him to make that reference, but I've said, look, it's better that you and Aziza and the team continue and allow me to take some time with the family. Although my wife is going to be Deputy Prime Minister, she will have time for me. But I said then I will have to travel quite a bit. I've given commitment to a few universities and few speaking engagements, and I think I need that time, that space, which is more significant. And I think Tun Mahathir was certainly welcome that sort of a decision, because I told him that I will be kept informed. I will of course be very interested in what's happening, but I don't need to serve in the cabinet for now. Okay? So terima kasih banyak. So we will not have the PC this 4 o'clock. I'll see you at MCOP Mall by about 10.
Group photo, group photo. Fotografer depan. Fotografer. Mana Izan? Abi Izan.
Hi, how are you?
Camera.
Thank you, the media.
Datuk, please,
The media, for whatever it was, has been very kind to me. Most of it, anyway. I thank also the media for their support. And of course, Aziza, top. They've been wonderful all these years. Thank you very
Nampak. Cucu tak nampak, cucu.
So back to the old routine, gardens and eating. I've lost some kilos, so I can afford to put on myself.
Deputy Prime Minister.
Camera. Camera.
Sini. Kawan pusing.
Datuk Seri. Bang.
Sorry.
It signifies the reborn of the leader and the nation.
Chinese eggs signifies the reborn of a new leader. I mean, after the transition. Ini sensitif tu ni. Hati salah satu.
Camera down, camera.
Telur merah menandakan era Malaysia baru. Terima kasih.
Datuk Seri.